Emily raved about the new horror flick, A Quiet Place. She got a chance to sit down with the stars of the movie.
That's always fun, but what does our movie reviewer really think about the movie? Here to tell us if it's worth the trip from Paul's trip to the movie, say hi to Paul McGuire Grimes. Hi, Paul.
Hello,
Okay,
hi.
I'm dying to know what you think about this movie.
Okay, this might be the first time that Emily and I are agreeing on a movie.
Really?
Oh, that's possible.
Yes. So I love scary movies, but it also makes me really picky. And I think this movie is absolutely terrifying.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Ooh,
and because when it is quiet, it forces you to watch everything going on screen, and then you build up this suspicion and paranoia in your head of like, what's going to happen next? Is something lurking in the woods? Is there a floorboard that's going to creak? And it just crescendos really well. It's 90 minutes, it's fast-paced, and it's smart. It's so suspenseful.
It doesn't feel hokey, though, because there are creatures. I mean,
Right.
really?
So it kind of feels like early M. Night Shyamalan movies meets Alien. And what's really great is that the characters are all really smart. Like John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, they're smart people. So they've thought about how to stay quiet throughout all of this. And there's a really tender father-daughter storyline as well with John, and then with Millicent Simmons as well, because she's deaf. And how does she work with that? How does her character deal with that?
This might seem like a silly question, but since there clearly is not a lot of dialogue in this movie, are there portions of it where it feels like, well, this is getting a little boring?
No, because there's something that's always happening on screen, and then you as the audience want to scream and like jump in your seat, but then you're like stifling it back because like it permeates to the audience because you're like, oh, I don't want any creatures coming up behind me. Then you leave the theater like, what is around me? What's going on? Like, it's great.
Oh, I want to see this.
Ticket
Okay,
stubs.
yeah.
So I'm giving it 4 out of 5. I cannot wait to see it again. It just builds and builds into a great ending, and it pays off really well.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we go from a movie that a lot of people have been talking about to another title that I'm just not familiar with. I Love Dogs. Have I missed this?
I mean, maybe. It's a smaller movie. This is the latest from Wes Anderson.
Oh, this is the Wes Anderson movie.
Yes.
I just saw a commercial the other day for
All
this.
of these dogs have mysteriously come up with dog fever and snout flu and are banished to Trash Island by the mayor, and it's up to this young kid to go and rescue them.
So this looks visually like Wes Anderson's movie, The Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yes, it's all stop-motion animation. So you have people like Bill Murray, Bryan Cranston, Jeff Goldblum, Scarlett Johansson, and Frances McDormand all doing voices of these dogs and some of the other creatures. It takes place in Japan. So a lot of the Japanese is not subtitled, but then the dogs' barks are in English.
Oh, funny.
Like that, so there's kind of that kind of communication breakdown between owner and pet.
It looks like it might be for kids, but you're saying no?
I would say teens and adults. It very much is more mature. The themes are a lot more mature. It's not like The Secret Life of Pets or anything like that.
Okay.
And if you've seen Wes Anderson's movies, it's very darkly comedic like that. It's shot just like all of his stuff. You need to have like a kind of a quirky sense of humor if you enjoy this movie.
Okay, all right.
Ticket stubs for that one?
So 3.5 out of 5. I really like his stuff. It's funny, it's witty, it's just kind of dark at times.
I'll tell you, the movie that we have just been waiting to press purchase on at home and watch on demand, but we haven't pulled the trigger yet. Jumanji with the guy that I love, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, is in
Steve,
this.
what are you waiting
I gotta
for?
do it. This week,
This
do it.
is Jumanji. It really took me by surprise. So this is a remake of the 90s movie, and in this one, it's about 4 high school students that get put into detention, and when they're cleaning the media room, they are transported into the video game of Jumanji and then become The Rock, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, and then
that
Karen
is
Gillan.
fun. That's
So you
twist.
have like this ditzy girl always in her phone that becomes Jack Black, or the nerdy kid that becomes The Rock.
Oh.
So how do they kind of work with these skills and then become a team player to win the game?
Oh, gosh.
I thought it was gonna bomb, and then people loved it. It has made
Over
boatloads of
400
money.
million at the box office. It was a huge hit, and it really is funny. It's action adventure. It's kind of Indiana Jones meets Jurassic Park at times. It has a really big score. Boys will love it. Girls will really like it too.
I want to ask you one more Rock question quickly.
Yes.
He's got another movie coming out.
Rampage next week.
Have you seen it already?
I'm seeing it on Tuesday. You should come with, Steve.
Oh, geez, Louis. It's
Oh,
an
the
official
date.
invitation.
It's an
that I just
official
got.
invitation.
The Rock is
I
my
wasn't
man. I
invited.
love
He
The
is
Rock.
so good in this smoldering skills. That's one of his skills in the game, is to smolder. and he
geez.
does it so well.
I want to give an Instagram follow. I do this just about every day on the Don and Steve show on My Talk, but I need to tell you, if you are on Instagram and you're not following The Rock, he is at
Really?
The Rock. He is not only really, really funny, sometimes he does use some language, so beware of that. Don't watch with the kiddos around. Preface the video first. But he's also very inspiring. I like self-help and I like funny people, and he is all of those
He's all
things.
of those
He's
things.
great.
And he
Oh
seems
my
like a
gosh.
generally nice guy, like really great with fans.
I've
Great
been
with,
fortunate enough to interview him several times, and every time he makes you feel like you are the only person on the planet. He calls it Planet Rock.
Oh, you would.
Thank you, Paulie.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Paul.
Yeah.
You can visit Paul's website. It's paulstriptothemovies.com. He's got all sorts of movie reviews there. You can also listen to him on the Colleen and Bradley Show on My Talk 107.1 every Friday.
Hey, more Twin Cities Live to come. We will be